You know what I don't like about Doctor Strange?
What?
That he just like randomly comes up with spells when he needs them. Like, oh, this is going to be a really hard task. Hold on. Let me just go to my Rolodex of spells that can teach me how to learn a dead language really quick.
I've got a few bones to pick with this issue.
Let's get into it right now. We're back. Hit that like button right now. Por favor. Because we're talking about Doctor Strange.
Yes, we are.
We're talking about Doctor Strange. Hit that subscribe button because we're talking about a lot more than that. We're talking about Infinity Gauntlet. We're going through all the issues.
Yeah, we're somewhere around the 30 mark out of 51 plus ish issues. So
and in Marvel Universe time, we're like, I don't know, an hour into the event.
Exactly. Yeah, this is nothing.
So
that's so weird to think about.
Doctor Strange, issue number 33.
Correct.
Okay. Where does this take place? Soon after Infinity Gauntlet 3.
Right. Between issues 3 and 4 of Infinity Gauntlet.
4. In between 3 and 4.
Right.
So, interesting, because that means that while we've been reading these past issues, this whole event took place.
We've been seeing some stuff go on with Hulk. We saw some stuff go down in Infinity Gauntlet 4.
And all the while, Doctor Strange went back in time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's going on? So, Doctor Strange, he is the anchor. He's anchoring our heroes.
It started
into
really,
time.
really cool. I loved the way this started.
Okay, let's break down what we like about it before we just trash this comic. Because
Okay,
the color
that's
work is
fair.
amazing.
The colors were popping.
But it's like, it's Doctor Strange, so they have to be popping.
Yes.
So it's like, that's not even really something to say. It's like
That's kind of standard for Doctor Strange. It's gonna be trippy.
all those secondary colors.
Mm-hmm. All the purples and yellows and greens. And
Oh, it's glorious.
it was like reading Watchmen, but with a bunch of drugs.
That's right.
However, the pencils,
Dude, that Thanos was terrible.
that one particular, we both commented on
We'll
it
put
as
it
we were
up.
reading it.
As we're reading it, we clicked that and we just laughed. We're like, what is this?
He was running out of time, I think, and just, that's
I
Thanos.
think that may be like that. This issue may be suffering from running out of time a couple times throughout this.
is the theme of this entire issue, if you want to get real weird with it.
Doctor Strange is the anchor to our heroes in this universe, keeping them in the time zone that they're in despite Thanos' power.
He teleported everybody over to Thanos' crazy death palace, and he's kind of, doing kind of like a Martian Manhunter thing where he keeps them all connected and is kind of helping them fight
All
from afar.
from the comfort of his home.
Yes.
Doctor Strange, some stuff starts getting a little heated, and he gets sent back.
Yeah, Thanos suddenly notices that Doctor Strange is messing with him, that he's the reason that all of these heroes have showed up at his domicile.
Mhm.
So he decides to do like a Hulk clap and kind of just send a shockwave across the universe, and it catapults Doctor Strange
We've seen
back through time.
that's what happened though, but he doesn't do that yet. He Hulk claps him back to his apartment or his house or whatever, Doctor Strange's home. And then ripple affects him back through time, but not before he can get his loved one.
Yeah. This girl Clea from the last issue that we broke down.
That's right. She's got to come along because, she's going to become a very integral part of the story. Like, there has to be a damsel in distress.
Of course, you can't tell a story without a damsel in distress. In fact, speaking of outdated story conventions, this entire issue felt like it was written like 20 years before. Like, it felt like it's straight out of Stan Lee in the 60s. It felt real old school.
Now, be real, though. Are you saying it because the issue itself felt old school, or is it because of the dialogue and the cosmic speech? Because this is just riddled with, like, random...
Strange isms.
Strangeisms. I don't care for them.
It really gets in the way of my liking of the character.
It's hard.
By the moons of Munapur and the hoary hosts of Halgoth and, all this weird shit. Just
say what you mean.
Just
man.
say, damn. Oh,
This
no.
sucks.
Yeah. He's always got some kind of weird alliteration to spit out, and that screams Stan Lee to me.
Yeah. So he's getting transported in time because of Thanos' clap. So we've seen Thanos snap. We've seen him shout. Now we're seeing his clap. And his clap causes people to just shoot back in time.
I guess.
Doctor Strange is doing it with his loved one, going back through time. They're not doing it. They're going back through time together.
It's actually a really cool panel. Like, it's a cool sequence.
It could have been way cooler. Though.
They're talking. It's a full page about them kind of like falling through like a tornado kind of thing. Like, whoa!
Look at time pass us, but don't show the reader.
Yeah,
as time passes.
He says he can see images of time flying past them, and it would have been super cool to see a couple of images of something,
anything
historical flying past them. Abraham Lincoln, You know,
Just give
the
me
Statue
something.
of Liberty. I don't know anything.
Give me something, man.
America stuff.
No. You just get
Just
the
some lines.
strange,
A tornado.
the strange lines, you know, in colors. And they get sent back in time, but they were able to grasp on to a year. They specifically say, like, we grasped to a couple
Because
years,
I
you
guess Doctor Strange realized that if they didn't find some place to land, something magical to anchor them into a specific time
know?
period,
Hell, they
that-
would have gone back to the damn Big Bang.
back to the start of time and just been stuck there.
Yep.
So
When the Infinity Stones were freaking created.
correct. So they managed to get anchored to what they eventually discovered to be ancient Egypt.
Interesting. Now, Strange quickly realizes that there's something here. Because if they're in ancient Egypt,
Well, of course. The
library-
lighthouse.
The lighthouse.
The great lighthouse of Alexandria.
Which means
The library of Alexandria.
it must be still around.
Of course. We're in ancient Egypt.
And the answer to getting back home has to be there because that's where like all the magic scrolls are kept before it was burned down.
Yeah, that was back in the day. That was like the depository of all of the written works of the time. They kind of all ended up in that library and then it burned down.
They're in Egypt during this Roman battle versus the Egyptians, and they sneak over to the library to find some scrolls.
Because apparently these scrolls are going to have
Their ticket out.
a spell in them to get them back to the future.
Now, okay, so if you're
to the
if you're any other character in the Marvel Universe, this would be a very difficult task because you're in the Library of Alexandria. There are just thousands upon thousands of scrolls. I mean, this is all the great works of history of mankind stored in one place that's about to be lost forever in a short amount of time in the future, but he's there now. Fortunately, Doctor Strange can do anything.
And he's got a magic spell. Of course, I'll use my locating spell to find, oh, there it is, out of all these scrolls. That's like finding one specific issue of a comic book in this room, but times a million.
But we do have a scene that happens before Doctor Strange just does a little incantation to get this scroll because he doesn't have to do anything.
He
This
never
guy
has to try and do anything. He's
There's
got a
no
spell for
problems,
everything.
man.
It's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
But one thing that is cool is that he has a conversation with two characters in this issue that I think is just really fun. He
Yeah.
meets up with Julius Caesar.
And Cleopatra, they just walk up to him in this library that they're in.
Now, what's interesting is that unless you're very well versed with Doctor Strange, you would know that this isn't the first time that Doctor Strange has talked to Cleopatra.
Oh, no. He brings us all up to speed, thankfully. Like, oh, I've met you before.
That's right. Way back in issue of 124 of Strange Tales.
That's the issue where she got teleported to the future. They got like unstuck in time and thrown into the future, and Doctor Strange helped her get back.
That's right. But that took place 10 years after this moment where he is in. So we actually get a little bit of a timestamp here, which is fun. She doesn't know who he is, but he knows who she is.
That's not confusing at all.
Nope. And this isn't the only time that we get a shout out like to a prior issue. But that's coming in a little bit. So we move on forward. Doctor Strange has got this scroll that he needs, but then, he's got to be stopped by someone because his lady friend hasn't put him in jeopardy yet.
No, there's a
That's
very
trope. I hate it.
yeah. This other sorcerer guy from ancient Egypt.
Zoda.
This guy Zota, who apparently is the guy that Doctor Strange anchored onto, is the whole reason that they were pulled into this time period, was because of this guy Zota, who has an equal or at least a similar, comparable level of magical know-how to Doctor Strange. So they get in a classic Doctor Strange wizard battle.
No,
I
they
guess.
don't. They actually really don't. This is actually terrible because he's like, I got to stop you. And Doctor Strange goes, oh, I know exactly what I need to do. Because here's the thing. Zoda's been looking for this scroll for a very long time. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, I would have never been able to come in here and find it.
The Scroll of Ashanti.
But fortunately, Doctor Strange is able to just do a quick little spell to find it. Heck, Doctor Strange does a little spell to learn Latin really quick because this guy has spells to learn dead languages just off the cuff.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to look it up real quick. He just, oh yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Thankfully, I studied this yesterday, and I can finally put it to use.
I knew I would be showing up in Egypt at some time. Mm-hmm. All right. So Doctor Strange, he pulls a fast one here. You don't see this coming at all. Zoda doesn't see this coming at all. Doctor Strange does the one thing that you would least expect. He just throws the scroll.
He gives it to him.
He just,
So you want this?
Frozen.
Here you go, bro.
ha! I know what to do. He tosses the scroll at him. But why would he do that?
Because he knew that there's no way that he couldn't have found it on his own unless the scroll was protected with a spell that stopped the guy from finding it. So by throwing the scroll at Zota, it kind of like rebounds off of him and like stuns him and
Knocks him
flies
out.
right back to Doctor Strange. And that's it.
That's it.
He takes him out.
3 panels. I think, maybe 4. But like he takes him out really quick by just kind of tossing it to him, doesn't even touch him. And then fortunately his lady friend who's trapped in a mirror from Zota, she's able to break out.
He traps her in a mirror and is like, I'll shatter the glass, I'll get her. And then, if I break the mirror, then she's gone.
Nope, he saves her, fortunately. Who would have saw that coming?
Hooray, saves the day and saves the damsel.
But this is where it gets interesting. How does he get back? He tethers himself to another being that is of equal magical ability in our time.
In the present day.
Correct.
There's this other sorcerer in the present day called Dr. Anthony Druid, who I guess is like a clone or something of Stephen Strange. Like, they gave a really rushed, quick explanation of this dude, and honestly, by the time I got to the end of this issue, my eyes were glossed over, and I did not understand who the hell this dude was.
Well,
it went right over my head.
He had some like magical treatment in the past. I mean, they even went as far to say that he was kind of an antagonist in Marvel Spotlight issue number 37, where he kind of tried to like become the chairman of the Avengers by using magic. Essentially, he has magical abilities, and just like Zota, there's like that connection through magic.
Right. Enough to anchor
Strange back to the present, and he gets back to the present.
Sure. So I'm assuming this guy is going to be a player moving forward in this Doctor Strange run?
Apparently. But you know what? I don't think that it's going to make much of a difference because there wasn't a whole lot done in this issue.
No. They got sucked back to Egypt and
he's like, I got to go back to Thanos here. Thanos is killing people right now.
Yeah.
He's going to show back up at like Death's shrine, and all these heroes
everyone's going to be dead. I wonder
like,
if that was because he was gone.
Oh, maybe it's all Doctor Strange's fault.
That would be cool if they could tie it in that way and maybe give this issue some relevance, because Doctor Strange was stuck in Egypt and not helping them out telepathically from far away.
Interesting.
That's what caused everything to fall apart in the battle with Thanos.
We do have a giveaway, don't we, Ryan?
We do. We're giving away What If, issue number 40.
What if Doctor Strange
had not become Master of the Mystic Arts?
What?
In our last Doctor Strange video, we asked what your pull list was, what comics you are currently getting.
I want to know from the audience, what are you picking up every Wednesday at your LCS?
Let us know.
In the comment section below. Hit that like and subscribe, and we're going to be sending this out next week because we're covering all the issues.
All of them.
Every single one. At least that's part of this Infinity Gauntlet run. For the comic fan, we do appreciate your time today. And, as always,
don't forget to geek responsibly.
Enough
said. Don't forget, you guys can sign up for the mystery mail call, the box of randomized assorted comic books that we send out every single month. You can sign up at geekstreet101.com. Cutoff date is on the 15th. The link is down below.